Alright, cool. So let's go over this watch list we have for it this week. Alright, this is gonna be the watch list for the week of August 19th. So let's get into it. Starting off with Spy here.
Alex, can you share the screen?
Oh yeah, you're right, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. Alright, so starting off with Spy here. We have a pretty strong weekly close coming in last week. Um, I do actually still like the spot that we're sitting at here. So, nice little, almost an equal high from the selling candle here. But I think for me, I actually would like to see um, actually a red day either today or even, for the next couple of days, as I'd actually like to see a back test of some of these levels here. So, I do have a previous imbalance, which is going to be right here, right there, weekly imbalance right there. And I do like these levels down to 530, and I also like this level right here, right about 544-ish for the weekly. So here, what I would like to see is some type of back test into potentially one of these levels here that could, you know, send us up here. So I would like to see something like this happen. Let's take a look at the daily. So the daily time frame here, yeah, we actually have a nice gap to fill here as well, down to that 544 level. So this is actually a really, really nice spot here, and it looks like we also have a bit of an equal high. So nice little equal high right here, coming in at Friday's close, um, right around this 555 level. So this 555 level should act as a breaker if we are able to get above there. But yeah, definitely I'm expecting some type of pullback. This will also set us up for almost a nice little cup and handle, or even potentially a inverse head and shoulders, right? If we have maybe, something like this, right? This little back test right here, um, down to this daily gap. This would actually set us up really, really nicely um, for the formation of this right shoulder here. Otherwise, if we do actually decide to pull a little bit lower, you did see that we had that previous 5-minute gap right there. But then we also have another daily imbalance that is forming right about here. So it could be something a little bit like this. However, if we did actually end up just breaking above this 555 initially, I would like to see it, whether or not it actually does want to get used as support. I'd be surprised if we do get this. I think this is probably the lower probability of this setup actually happening here. But yeah, for me, I would actually like us to um, short around this area, just because we close as an equal high um, from this previous high over here. But yeah, overall, this is probably what I'm going to be keeping an eye out on. Something along these lines. I definitely am more of a fan of this back test into this previous imbalance here, and then along right around this 545 level. But yeah, and like I said, that will also set us up really nicely for that almost inverse head and shoulder setup. But we would have to see how we react at that 545 level. One thing to maybe keep in mind, we may have a fib setup here. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so we are still technically sitting right in fib here with SPY, right at the 78.6 right here. So yeah, this would actually be a very, very nice short. So I think I also will actually position myself for some more put swings this week actually. So yeah, especially after consecutive you know, green days, 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 4 green days in a row, with also a gap up. I would like to see this move kind of get cooled down a little bit, or at least have one more red day. So yeah, even if we don't get a fill of this back test, I am expecting at least a tap back into this 548 level for sure sometime this week. So definitely could be nice. Take a look at the 4 hour. 4 hour, we do have some previous imbalances we do have to fill below us, and I would also line up with those um, imbalances from the daily time frame as well. So this is about Thursday's run up, or I think this was jobless claims right here on Thursday that shot us up. So yeah, definitely it's probably going to be a break below the overnight low. We should see a nice move down all the way to previous low of day, and below previous low of day I'd expect a move for that gap fill or imbalance fill down below us. So do like that. Take a look at Qs here. Q should have similar structure here, but we'll see. So QQQ still actually is looking alright. It might be, yeah, so not as high in terms of the actual GP, but you see we did just get our first official tap into the 61.8 with last week's fill. It's a nice spot right there. Not too much here for the weekly, but I do like this kind of 460 level. So I will take note of this level here. Put a line right there. Here on Qs, yeah, we have roughly about the same setup here. We just do have that daily gap to get filled from Thursday's jobless claims data, and we almost have a head and shoulder setup also starting to form here. Inverse head and shoulder, sorry. So yeah, I like this for a back test of that lower shoulder, so down to that 460 region, previous area of support. But we definitely probably could hold 464 if we wanted to. Wouldn't be surprised there, but yeah, similar setup. We have an equal high candle close right at this 475 level. So definitely I do like a potential, you know, short little rejection around this area here. But breaker bar probably would have to be, a breakout level would have to be probably above 475.50. Yeah, probably above 475.50. As you do see, we do have a daily time frame imbalance overhead us. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that fill as well. So as long as we continue to reject this, this could be nice. A nice move down, but otherwise if we are, you know, showing some relative strength above 475, then I would expect a straight shot for this fill up to 480 roughly. And that'll be probably my next area to potentially short. 4 hour here. Yep, same exact thing. We have a couple of imbalances to fill slightly below us here. But similar structure on SPY here. Actually, it almost looks like we're starting to flag here a little bit. It's not the prettiest flagging structure, but we are still technically holding inside of this 475 area as of right now. So you do want to keep that in mind. I think for today, I'll actually be keeping an eye out for rejections at previous high of day if we're able to get a retest into that, or right at the overnight high, which is going to be that same level that I was talking about yesterday, which is going to be that 19,680 level that I was targeting last night. But nice there. Yeah, like I said, very similar to SPY overall, but let's take a look at how these individuals are looking. So Apple here, once again, looks extremely similar to Qs. We are sitting with inside this GP here. I believe last week's move was actually pretty nice. It did hit all of my targets in terms of its overall breakout levels. Last week, I believe we were sitting at, last week was the 12th. So yeah, I was looking for a breaker above 220 for a push up to 224. So last week played out really nicely with Apple. We are sitting inside of a pretty decent resistance area. Um, yeah, this almost looks like an exact mirror with Qs here as well. Right, we have our left shoulder, head right there, and then we could form our right shoulder, get it back test back down to this 220 level. Yeah, I do like that down there. Back test down to that 220 potentially. Get rid of, we'll at least leave that. But yeah, back test down to that 220. Do have a daily time frame gap to fill slightly below us, right at 223. And I believe that's really it. To be honest, we don't really have anything else. We did have this previous imbalance that we did end up tapping into and filling. Rejected that, came back down. Yeah, potentially a very, very similar setup here, but the way this shoulder actually is forming, we could actually head back down to 217. So that would be a little bit more of a bigger drop there, which we definitely could see. But for me, I'm definitely more of a fan of that 220 retest level. So I'll be keeping an eye out on that. Back test into 220. And then, yeah, I definitely like to see this daily time frame gap potentially get filled there. 4-hour structure. We see that we actually have a very, very nice higher low setup that actually came in here. And then you'll see now, going into today, we actually did finally get a break out of that structure. So it looks like we are starting to kind of lose a little bit of this momentum here. What I would like to see, like this almost break and retest structure. So we got this finally break below during this overnight, back test into overnight highs or previous high of day, or even this upper trend line, and I get a rejection there, maybe. Yeah, pretty much the same exact thing. Like I said, equal high, sitting right around this 225 level. We are actually sitting over it as of right now, but I'm more interested to see how we're gonna actually open today, and see how we interact at this previous high level, right at 225. More like 226. Let's just say 226. But I'll be keeping an eye out on that. Microsoft here. Okay, so it looks like we actually have potentially the opposite setup coming in here. We are going to be opening up right around 419. So pretty much flat overall, but we almost have a regular head and shoulder setting up here. Alright, so right where we're sitting at right now, we have a little bit more room up to about 423. But I think this actually could possibly set up for head and shoulders here. Not really seeing too much here on the weekly though overall, as we don't really have any imbalances really, but I'm a fan of this roughly 223, 227 area. I like this spot here. And kind of around here. Head over to daily time frame. Yeah, so on this daily we actually have some imbalances to fill here. So do have an imbalance to fill right around here. It's about 430. 430 to about 443. Okay, so it's actually pretty big. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get that, but I think we actually can kind of pull up a little bit more here on Microsoft. So this could be a relative strength name that we could be watching out for today. Um, so probably a back test at least up to this 426, or even potentially tap all the way up and use this imbalance as resistance, similar to how we did right here. You see that we pulled down after forming that imbalance, pulled right back up, and actually used it as resistance right about here. And then that sent us for another leg lower. So I'll be interested to see if we'll actually end up getting the same thing. Get this back test up into this imbalance up to 430, use it as resistance, and then finally pull down there. And that would also line us up roughly with where the previous high was with the actual left shoulder. We see here we did reject right around that 430 level, which is the high of this left shoulder. And then you can see that also lines up with the same exact spot where this daily time frame imbalance sits. But obviously above 430, you could definitely expect a straight shot up to probably about 433, and then above 43 should be a straight push up to 442. Because just based off how we've been moving here, you see on this left hand side, just pretty much a straight shot up, and then similar on this right hand side here, pretty much a straight shot down. So should expect the same thing if we are able to get above 433, above 43, 433, we should see move to 443. So that's about a $10 pretty much push up right there, but that would be pretty nice to see overall. For our structure here, we actually have something very similar to Apple here. So you see, I did create a 4-hour trend line here, right? 4-hour lower high, lower high, lower high, and then we actually did get that break above that trend line, and then once we got that break of structure right about here, trend shifted, we are in a new trend. But now, right, when I connect this, trend shifted once again, right, from a higher low, higher low, higher low. Now we got a official break below that. So once again, I am going to be interested in a potential break and retest of this structure here to actually, let me pull us down here a little bit. We do have, once again, that daily time frame gap that I was keeping an eye out on, as well as we do also have a 4-hour imbalance down to this 410 level. But I would be more interested probably within, no, I like this 410 level. So we do have a previous BPR right there. Yeah, right about there. Previous 4-hour BPR sitting right at this 410 level. So I'm a fan of that. Yeah, so you could get a potential break retest of previous high of day, or even use fib in a situation like today. Yeah, that actually would line at a previous high of day, back test there, and then potential short spot for me. Alright, let's take a look at Google now. Google's weekly time frame candle. Okay. So Google, we had this previous imbalance right at 159. And I believe we attempted to actually break out of a smaller time frame structure. Yeah, so not too much here on the weekly, but take a look at the daily here. Yeah, so on the daily here, the structure actually is still valid. The reason why I still say it's valid is because all this was a actual break and retest of the structure so far. Yes, it is a little bit wider, but if you do connect the trend lines, it actually does still make sense. You see, we were keeping an eye out last week on this daily flag breakout. We got that break, pulled down a little bit, and then kind of came back up. Friday, we got a retest, and no candle closed about above 165. So as long as we remain below 165 and don't get a larger time frame close above there, I think we're still good actually. So probably below that, you could see, I still have my targets down at 155 for me. And I believe that's it. We do technically still have this imbalance to fill overhead. So, yeah, like I said, above 165, we probably would see a little bit more upside, up to at least 169 or 170. But as long as we remain below here, I do still have my targets of this low of 156. The 4 hour here. Yeah, it's the same exact thing here. Higher low, break a structure, and now we're using this lower trend line as resistance here. So once again, we are now back to creating a higher low structure. So yeah, probably a break below about 462, 463. We should see a nice little drop and see this kind of move continue here. Nvidia. Still looks to be overall really, really strong. However, I do like where we're sitting. Because if you see where we're sitting almost right outside of a weekly time frame imbalance. Right at 124 up to 127. So, really nice potential short opportunity. We technically have a little bit more room up here if we wanted to, but not a lot overall. If we draw a fib here, should be the really nice spot sitting right in that 70.7. So this would be a really nice short opportunity right here, I think, for me. Daily time frame setup. Yep, also daily imbalance, previous daily imbalance that actually did get filled. So now I actually am more of a fan of this 126 level for me. We do have earnings coming up soon. Yeah, August 28th. So that's next Wednesday. So we do still have time on that, but yeah, I am liking a fill towards that imbalance, as that would be a pretty nice short spot and gives definitely a good R to R for me. I don't really see the actual setups here. Maybe something like this. Not really though. This is kind of dragging it, to be honest, but I think I definitely would like to see a back test into that previous breakout 119 level. That's the level that we've been actually keeping an eye out on for a while now, right? We've used that plenty of times for a break up and also to break down. So I would actually like to see us get a potential retest of that. See if we actually want to use that 119 level as support to send us up for another leg higher. Alright. Take a look at the 4 hour. Not too much here for me, to be honest. Maybe we have a trend line here. Yeah, we kind of have a trend line there. Not the best one, but no, this would actually make sense as if we get a break below previous high of day, or sorry, previous low of day, this should be a really nice push down towards that 119, as below previous high of day would be a break of structure right there from that higher low, and then yeah, should be a straight shot to that 119 level. Be keeping an eye out. Alright, so now that we've talked about all those names there, take a look at our overall economic calendar that we have for this week, which I did actually post in the Discord already. So news that's going to be kind of coming in this week. Let me also switch my screen for you guys. So news that's going to be coming in for this week. Don't really have too much today actually, which is good. But we are having a couple of speakers going on this week, but most importantly, we do have minutes on Wednesday. I don't think we'll actually move too much off of that, just based off the data we had last week. We have home sales, and PMI on Thursday, We may or may not move off of that, but we have been recently moving off jobless claims, so I would be keeping an eye out on that. Most importantly, though, we have Powell speaking at Jackson Hole on Friday. So overall, not too much actually, so it should be a pretty nice week in terms of movement. And then our earnings, we actually don't have anything really either, as we are starting to kind of come out of earnings season. But yeah, any questions on anything I talked about today, guys? No, everyone's good. All right, cool. Well, that's probably gonna be a wrap for this week's watch list then.